Tonight, we find out what Como means on Comic Book Canon. Welcome, everybody. Friday night, another Friday night with you fine fellows and ladies and whatever. We are here tonight to talk about comic books, the hobby that we all know and love so much. We are very grateful that you guys are here with us each and every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific, to talk about comic books and everything related to comic books. But, the show can't go on until I bring my co-host, my partner in crime, in, and that would be Chris. Christopher, how are you, buddy?
What's up?
How's it going?
I made it through my live stream after I spent hours on the phone with AT&T again this week, and I thought I had my internet set up to where it would work. I go live and pissed all my subscribers off because it was worse than ever. So here I am back in the messy room.
There we go.
I have my microphone.
You sound wonderful. You sound wonderful. And you look good. The background is usually better, though. But you know what? You're here. We're all here. We're here to talk about comic books. Sure. We got a great guest, too, as well. Drew Stuart from Como Comics. He will be guest co-host, but he has to get through his interview first. And then we decide, Chris, if we keep him or if we boot him. It's as simple as that. And so that's a lot of pressure on Drew. Ton of news. We got Tom Tormey back again this week. His kids are fine, feeling fine from COVID. Thank you for that. Again, he has another Cosmic Minute. We got Hottest Comic Books. And, of course, fresh from the comic shop, we got Chris. We have 16 entries this week. That is a lot, and we can't wait to get to each and every one of those.
Absolutely. Hey, before we get into the show, though, Jeff, I do got to give a big shout out to friend of the channel, supporter of journos and comic book canon, Budro66, fellow Chris, who is currently in the hospital right now, really dealing with some health issues. So Budro, I don't know if you're there watching tonight, but if you are, just want to let you know that you are in our thoughts, and I want everybody, whether you're religious, spiritual, anything, no matter what you believe in, put some positive energy out there, say some prayers, meditate, just put some positive thoughts out into the universe for Budro. So for him to have a recovery and to get through everything that he's battling right now. So just had to let that be known.
Absolutely, Budro. We are wishing you the best. We're thinking of you, and we cannot wait for you to join us live each and every Friday to talk about comic books, man. We really, really wish you the best, and we are pulling for you, praying for you. All right, so moving on from that, though, Chris, we're gonna do another drawing here. Because we did not have, I think, Comic Noob 5150. He never got back to us. So we are picking our second place winner right now. That is right. Ooh. And any of you early bird subscribers that entered, we are going to be, drawing another winner here. So hopefully this time somebody will reply, right, Chris? So
yes, please. Come on, guys. We want to give some stuff away. Take it.
It's great. It's a $25 gift certificate to mycomicbookshop.com and a grab bag from Journos Comics. You cannot go wrong with that, guys. You can just reply back to us. Anyways, our main winner, though, Kaya B. He's very happy. We just sent him the $100 gift certificate from Joe G. Thank you, Joe G. Dan De La Torre is going to be sending that Defenders number 10 slab. I have a spec grab bag that I'll be sending your way as well. But here we go, guys. Here we go for our second place winner for the 500 sub contest. Here we go. So this is randomizer.org.
Let's do it.
I'm not an expert by any means with this thing. So what I'm going to do here, we have the list of people here. There are 78 names here, Chris. And I'm just going to do it 3 times. All right?
Yep.
Here we go. So it says...
Again.
Here we go. Again.
3.
3. You're right. We're counting backwards. Got it.
2. Right.
2. And here we go for 1. Boom.
This is it.
Lenale Bree. Lenale Bree, you are our latest winner.
Right.
For the 500 stuff, the second place winner here. So, if you are Lenale Bree, or this person, please have them get in touch with us.
Lynn Alley Bree.
Yeah, I don't know.
Something like that.
just get in touch with us. It's that simple, Chris. It's that simple.
Yep. Hit us up on Instagram. Send us an email. What's the email, Jeff?
We got Instagram, Comic Book Canon, or we got the email, Comic Book Canon.
There you go.
.com. So please hit us up. We're going to be happy to give out those gifts because we're past, where are we? 600. We're past 600 now. So we're moving on to our 1,000 sub soon, which actually Dan Vinatore is super excited about. He's going to be helping us out with that as well. We'll have an announcement shortly when it gets to that point.
Yes.
All right. There's a lot of stuff we're talking about here, guys. A lot of stuff. But I think it's just time to get into the news. It was a really frazzled week for me. It was a frazzled week for you, Chris. So let's just have fun, people. Let's just have fun.
Do it.
Have a great show. We're just going to start getting into it right now with our news. And with that news, guys, we have confirmation that She-Hulk has begun filming in Atlanta. That is extremely exciting, because this is something we've all been waiting for. Yet another MCU show, guys. It just, the hits keep coming with WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm loving that. I don't understand anybody that is not liking this. You got Hawkeye that has is probably wrapping up soon, as well as Miss Marvel. Moon Knight starting, and now She-Hulk. She-Hulk they started rolling cameras, and this is extremely exciting because I am super psyched for the show. It's tapped as like a courtroom comedy. So we'll see how they play it off that. It's obviously something they haven't done yet. And when they start taking these risks and doing these things, it's super exciting. But this announcement, however, does not come officially from Marvel. It comes from the state of Georgia's website. They have a ton of productions going there because of their tax incentives. But it's added She-Hulk as a current production in progress in the state on a list that states now filming in Georgia. She-Hulk was added to the list this week. And as we know, in late March, Kevin Feige did release a statement saying that She-Hulk will be filming in a matter of weeks. We are going to get to see not only She-Hulk here, but we're going to see Mark Ruffalo and the Abomination coming back as well. So I'm psyched for this series.
That's my dude.
I don't know how you cannot be psyched for this series, Chris.
Yeah, man. I'm psyched for it all. All of it. Hey, remember Night Court? Remember that show, Night Court?
I do remember Night Court. I don't... I'm going to tell you right now, I hope it's not like Night Court. What was that dude's name? The tall dude, the really goofy dude?
Yeah. I don't.
We'll have to get back on. I guarantee
I'm going to have to YouTube some Night Court or something. See if we can find some old stuff out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, but we do have some more MCU news. This one's an interesting one, and Chris is going to take the reins on this. Chris, take it away, bud.
Well, man, I know, Jeff. We've tippy-toed around this subject, and I think we both feel very strongly about the subject. We all know that we lost Chadwick Boseman last year, and there's been a lot of divide within fans of how they want to see Black Panther carried on. And right now, we are getting a fan petition from fans pushing Marvel Studios to recast T'Challa. Now, we know that Feige announced months ago that Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa would not be recast in the MCU. Still, resilient fans have now started a petition to recast, but get this, in an attempt that would honor Boseman. So, yes, they are wanting to recast to honor him. Look at what the head of there's a change.org petition created by E-Man Movie Reviews is his handle. This is what E-Man had to state on the petition. Quote, if Marvel Studios removes T'Challa, it would be at the expense of the audiences, especially Black boys and men who saw themselves in him. That also includes the millions of fans who were inspired by the character as well. By not recasting, it could stifle the opportunity for one of the most popular leading Black superheroes to add on to their legacy. The number one way to kill a legend is to stop telling their story. All right. So we're going to dive into this a little differently than we do most news. But I'm going to go, he had few other things to say before I kind of go and analyze everything. He went on to state, it's not asking for an immediate replacement either, nor is this calling for the prevention of other characters to take up the mantle of Black Panther like Shuri or anyone else. This petition is merely asking to continue the portrayal of T'Challa in the MCU. Hashtag recast T'Challa is a call to fulfill the role that Chadwick Boseman worked so hard for the world to see. All right. Here is my perspective on this. Now, Jeff, I think we both shared the sentiment over the last however many months that we felt that nobody can replace Chadwick. In this individual, E-Man even states, that this isn't about replacing, but carrying on. So I get what he's trying to say, but I don't know if you can separate the two, right? So I'm gonna empathize with some of what this individual is saying, but first I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. All right. What we do know is that Black Panther is a much larger representation of Black peoples and African heritage. You can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution. That's a very popular saying. Maybe some of you are familiar with. I'll even use the saying that you cut off one head, 3 more grow, kind of a thing like that. So the reason why I bring up these sayings is because, if you talk about the revolutionary impact that Bozeman left for the representation of Black kings and queens, it should be even stronger by enduring his loss and carrying on the legacy that he left behind. And I don't see that as recasting him. I see that as letting his death and his absence be such a void that we have to fill it with his legacy instead of substitute it with somebody that is not him, right? So my thing is this. In order for us to learn and not just try to duplicate what he did, but to carry on, we have to remember that he's no longer here. He created T'Challa. And T'Challa is no longer here, but he planted the seeds for Black Panther in Wakanda. And just like Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige said, and Ryan Coogler said about the World of Wakanda TV show that's in development, the representation of Black kings and queens for those little Black boys and little Black girls to look at characters like T'Challa or Shuri and to see a peoples like the Wakandans and the great nation that they are, that did not die with Chadwick. That did not die with T'Challa. It's being carried on without him, and in a sense, possibly even stronger. Okay, now let me show some empathy here to what E-Man is saying. T'Challa was a connecting piece that had a very important message to, the symbols of his character and all the characters around him. And this was planted through his family and his enemies, Killmonger, right? Within those relationships, Shuri and Killmonger, respectively, it was his vision to open Wakanda up to the world. And that last scene of Black Panther, when they went back to Oakland and he opened, he comes down and he's showing Shuri, the apartment buildings, like, I bought that building. That's going to be a shelter or I forget exactly what he called it. And you saw the little Black kids playing basketball and they see the spaceship and the ball drops and bounces away. And the one kid that stood there, like with his mouth open in awe, just looking at T'Challa. And it wasn't said, and it didn't need to be said, but what was said was, that's me. And then it goes, and I should have brought it to show you guys today, but I have that variant comic, the Black Panther variant comic, where you see the little Black boy and Black girl looking at the movie poster on the wall, the now playing at the cinema, and it's Black Panther and Shuri, and they're saying, that's me. So Chadwick Boseman left a legacy that was so ingrained in the character of T'Challa that his representation wasn't just the character itself, but how he planted the seeds within the other characters as well, and that it is his vision. So you got a duality here. You got a real duality of everything that I just said in terms of why I disagree with recasting him to what I just said to empathize with his loss. There is something there that the character T'Challa was built on, that foundation. And even though it's there in the community of Wakanda and of all the peoples, you have to question if there's some way that the ideology in the heart of T'Challa can be carried on by someone else. Now, lastly, and I'll let you jump in here and we'll move on from this, Jeff, but Chadwick Boseman in real life, similar, you get a Tupac is another one. You can go back to the revolutionaries of Martin and Malcolm. You get individuals that live on this earth that cannot be duplicated in any form. Their charisma, their passion, their soul, their eloquence, how they speak, how they move. It cannot be duplicated. And Chadwick was one of those people outside of the role of T'Challa, and that's what he brought to this character. So how do you recast that? How do you? Well, I'll tell you what. If Marvel Studios comes to a point to where they say, we actually think it might be a good idea to cast T'Challa, I'm going to tell you all, there's only one person that I think can do it. Now, there was talks about Denzel Washington's, I forget his name off the top of my head, Denzel Washington's son. He's been in some great films. I disagreed. There was nobody that I felt could ever do T'Challa justice in the shadow of Chadwick Boseman. But today, I'm going to say one name. Damson Idris. Damson Idris is the one person living and breathing on this earth that I believe could fill the role of T'Challa and carry on Chadwick's legacy and still make it work. If you're not familiar with Idris, this man should win an Emmy as the leading character in the FX show Snowfall. If you guys aren't watching Snowfall, created by John Singleton, rest in peace. This show has been brilliant. It's in season 4. From the first episode to the last one, it's amazing. I think it's some of the best TV that I've ever watched, ever. And this man right here, wow, what an amazing job. Let me talk a little bit about his history, okay? He is he's Nigerian. He grew up and his parents immigrated to South London. Southeast London, and grew up in the projects in Southeast East London. They tried to escape, poverty, just go into more poverty. You know how that works sometimes. So he's from Africa. He's African himself. And he grew up with a single mother, coming up out of poverty, and has a lot of living characteristics that he's experienced, but also he has the charisma. He has the understanding of the deeper rooted meaning of, socio-cultural, socioeconomic conditionings that really what Chadwick Boseman brought to the role of T'Challa in the MCU. This man right here, and I'm telling you, if you guys don't watch the show Snowfall, he has an English accent mixed with, some of that Nigerian tongue. This man, if you watch the show, you would think he was from South Central, because the accent that he does is just absolutely amazing. But that's almost besides the point. But look, guys, if you're not familiar with this, with Idris, get familiar with him. Jeff, I know you said you haven't watched Snowfall, but I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Maybe you're an outsider looking in, but
I'm not an outsider looking in. I'm invested just like anybody else who's a fan.
No, I mean in terms of Damson Idris. I'm not sure if you're familiar with his work,
but I'll tell you what, it's pretty cut and dry for me, the situation. You don't recast him. Yeah. Here's the deal. Like for me, in comic books, when a character dies, that doesn't mean much these days, right? This is the real life we're dealing with. This is also, these characters are brought to real life with, in terms of visually on screen. You're seeing these characters move, talk, feel, emote. And I honestly, you just can't. What he put into all of his work, I just don't feel like you would replace that. And it is out of respect to him, but it's also out of respect for the character and what he brought to the character. This man played Jackie Robinson. This man played James Brown. This man played so many other characters. Like, I'm not saying it'd be disrespectful to Chadwick, but I just think it would be disrespectful to everything he put into that. And I think you could go in a different direction. I'll tell you another thing from a business perspective. Marvel has said they're not recasting Chadwick. They're not recasting T'Challa. That's it. And usually they don't flip flop. You never see them flip flop. I've never seen. I mean, they're not DC. Again, there we go. That's a little thing that we got. We have no DC news, and we're very frustrated with DC. But it's pretty cut and dry for me. I don't think you recast T'Challa. I think you move on with a new Black Panther, which has already been done in the comic books. It fits in line with what this character is, and you build off of what Chadwick did with the character. That's my opinion.
I hear you, man. I hear you. So look, my perspective is not changing. I'm right there with you. I still believe you carry on the mantle, you carry on the kingdom of Wakanda, and you do that through all the other characters that are there, and you keep the heart of Chadwick at the base of it all. But I will say, if they do decide to recast him, and they pick anybody outside of this one individual, Damson Idris, I won't be happy with it. If they pick Damson Idris, at least I still will disagree with it, but I might be able to live with it, because if I saw him on screen and he did a good job knowing his work, like I said, it might be something that I can live with. But I'm right there with you, Jeff. I still believe that they should not recast. You know what though? I will say this. Because I'm such a fan of Damson Idris, how about they bring him in as a Wakandan character that might take up the mantle in the future, but he's inspired by T'Challa, and he's his own character.
So many ways. There's so many different ways to do this, right? Again.
Yep.
I think you and I are on the same page here. I know you like to play, the other side of the coin, but I don't know. There's so many variables. There's so many ways that this could be introduced. But it's interesting to see that their fans are petitioning. So, if you guys are all in and you want to see him recast, why not put your voice out there? Sign this petition. We don't have a link or anything to it, but what's the information again, Chris? Before we move on,
what's that?
What's the information? What's the link or the information that for this petition?
Honestly, you guys can Google. It's on change.org. It is on change.org. But you guys could Google that. We're not here petitioning it. So I don't feel the need for us here on Comic Book Canada to represent a recast. We just bring in the news. You guys go do the research.
We're bringing opinions too, guys. We're bringing opinions too. But all right. So anyways, check it out. Make your voice heard if this is something you're interested in. T'Challa being recast. We shall see. First off, though, before we get to our last segment of news and our guest co-host, Drew Stuart, I want to just say hello to people, Chris. I just want to say hello to all these people. So we got the bearded one. What's up, Pete Keel? How you doing? Prince Zodiac already had some great comments there. Planet Arizona Comics is saying, do not talk bad about DC because AT&T will come after you, Chris. Comics, Nerds Being Geeks, what's up? Louis Logics XXX, obviously Tom Tormey, Comic Toby. How y'all doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us. I have to say, Chris, this next tidbit of news goes out. I'm dedicating it to my good friend Adrian Tedesco, who is a diehard Star Wars fan. That's right, people. We are 3 weeks? I think around 3 weeks away from the Bad Batch. May 4th. It will be released May 4th. This series. It looks freaking awesome. They just released a brand new poster. That's right, including this is the full Clone Force 99. You got Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Echo, and Crosshair. Nice. It also includes this mysterious child that we've seen in the trailer. Episode 1. It will be on Tuesday, May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. I'm not sure if they're going to release every episode on Tuesday. I mean, usually with Disney Plus, new episodes of series release on Fridays. We shall see. But I'm super psyched for this because this is going to be around the time that Falcon and Winter Soldier. I said Captain because I guess he. Anyways, Falcon and Winter Soldier will be ending. So picks up with Bad Batch. That'll bring us into Loki, which will bring us into Black Widow. And I'm going to pause there. That's July. So we got some awesome stuff coming, guys. We have some awesome stuff, and I'm super psyched, Chris. Super psyched. But that is the news of the week. A little bit light, but that's okay because we have a great guest. That's right. We have Drew Stuart from Como Comics. let me take off this Bad Batch banner. How about that? Drew Stuart from Como Comics. Drew is on top of everything in terms of like investing, speculating. He's the owner of Como Comics. Drew drops his knowledge on the regular on his YouTube channel. Please click the link below and subscribe. But before you do, let's just hang out with him. You know, let's just see if you like him first, right? Because we don't want you guys clicking on and be like, oh man, I'm not so sure about this guy, and then blaming us, because that would be an absolute disaster. So here we go. Drew, welcome to the show, buddy. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? You guys keep talking about this great guest you've got, and I'm like, shit, did they replace me?
Who's
coming? Who's coming?
No, absolutely not. This is you, Drew. I'm telling you, man, you drop the knowledge. You do such a good job on your channel of just breaking it down, and you have a lot of top 10 lists. The top 10. Basically, you do a lot of like top 10 books to get on now before it's too late. Yeah. And a month, 2 months later down the road, it is too late. So you do a great job of jumping on those types of things. So,
well, thank you.
You've got this investing game. By the way, that's all following on IG too, at como.comic.books on Instagram as well. And again, his YouTube link is down below. He's about to hit 5,000 subs, so please subscribe.
Right. Pretty excited about that.
Yeah, as you should be, because I mean, here's another thing. Like before Comic Book Canon even started, the beginning of the pandemic, I was just getting into this comic book content on YouTube, and I saw Drew. Drew was one of the first people that I saw, and I enjoy watching his content. And then all of a sudden, 1 week, Drew's commenting in our show. So those are the cool kind of things that you see here. I was really happy to kind of connect that way. So we're like, we have to have you on the show, and he's happy to be here. I think. Don't let me speak for you. In your eyes.
If you started watching right at the beginning of the pandemic, you have my condolences, because I started the end of January in 2020. It's like, hell, let's have a YouTube page. Why not? And then the world shut down, and everybody in the world now has a YouTube page. So thankfully I had a 6-week head start, but yeah, we've come a long way.
You made it. At
this point.
You have. And again, we're glad that you're here. Glad to talk your knowledge with this crew. But again, you are a guest co-host, but you got to get through this interview. So I'm going to start laying it down right now.
Let's do it.
So in terms of like, you've got this investing game down. Now, did you go to school for business and incorporate your love of comics, or did you become this industry expert in another way?
No, actually, my degree is in secondary education. So I was going to be a teacher, and then I got a copy of a salary schedule and decided that I needed to make a little bit of money, because I'd just gone to college for 5 years, and they were going to expect some payments before too long. So I was working for a big box retailer at the time. So I kind of came up. I did about a 10-year stint with big box retail, and most of that was in management. So I kind of learned retail sales and stuff, a little bit of marketing and merchandising and stuff like that. But no, the comics were definitely something I just picked up in college, because I was working full time. I was going to school full time, and I needed a hobby, something I could do in the 20 minutes I had between classes, or the 30 minutes between when I get out of class and when I go to work. And thankfully at that point in time, the internet was like Wi-Fi was a thing. I'm going to date myself. I had a pocket PC that I used to take notes on in class and stuff. I had a little fold-up keyboard and everything. But it was, I'd just sit there and shop on eBay instead of paying attention in class most of the time, because that's what kids do. But no,
I am absolutely guilty of sitting in a college class with, we're taking notes on the laptop, and I got eBay, and I'm like watching the clock, jumping on.
You've got the notes stacked to this side, and you got the eBay on this side. Oh yeah. I mean,
by the way, I just want to let you know, Tom Tormey, we have a Cosmic Minute coming up later in the show. Yep. In the future 20 years, you made the right choice. Yep. So
yeah.
I'm an educator as well, so
I thought that was right. I mean, I've got a buddy, he's a teacher and does the comic life on the side as well, and it's just, I don't know. The only time I really miss it is snow days. It's like, when when you've still got to go to work, but you see the buses staying in the bus bar, and you're kind of like, maybe I chose wrong, but
well said.
That's all right.
Well said.
It's all good.
Well, so you kind of, as you said, you went to school for secondary education, but you kind of created this business, I guess, on the side, because this is not you have a full-time job now. I'm sure you have aspirations to take this further. Don't let me speak for you again.
A buddy of mine who is a bit of an entrepreneur used to explain it that there's like this thing that exists called a comfort belt that, once you get married, excuse me, guys, okay. Allergies are killer here in the flyover right now. But it's getting to a point in life where you're comfortable and you have all these things that you want to continue to have. And it's getting to where you can let go of some of that before you take that dive. And I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. I'm pretty happy with doing this as kind of a side hustle, but I'm never going to say never. If, I can retire from that, office space lifestyle and, do this on the side for the last few 5, 10, 15 years I'm working, to just kind of have a little more fun before, the gravedigger comes for me, that'd be all right.
Well said, I guess. But all right. So that being said, let's take it back a little bit, because when and how did you decide to make Como Comics? By the way, you're from Columbia, Missouri, so Mo Comics. When and how did you decide to make that kind of a side hustle and a business?
Well, basically, Como exists because I bought a collection. I got a call one 4th of July, and first off, I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm a terrible storyteller. So if I get off on a tangent, just steer me back in. So it was the 4th of July. I got a call. A guy who lived the next town over from where I grew up was selling a comic collection. So I grabbed a buddy and we drove up there, and I wound up buying this collection. Pretty solid late silver, early Bronze Age collection. Had some great stuff in it. So I bought it, and this was the point in time where I'd come to the realization that I was spending just an astronomical amount of money at retail, because I'm waiting. I actually worked at a local comic shop at the time, and did for a long while, but I would help them buy collections that walked in the door, and then I would turn around and pay retail prices for what I wanted out of the collection, less my employee discount. And I'm like, 20% off's nice, but if I can pay wholesale and keep what I want, that's even better. So that's how I kind of made the leap, and I bought the collection. I pulled what I wanted out of it, and I said, okay, I'm done with it. I'm going to, sell the rest of this stuff out. So I had like 4 long boxes of Silver Age, Bronze Age, not much modern at all. They all kind of have their, I think maybe a fourth of it was $1 books, $3 books, that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to Kansas City, I'm going to do a little barbecue tour and go shopping with the missus and stuff. It's like, I'll just hit some of the shops down there and see what they'll give me for it. Like, if I could get back out of it what I put in it, I'd be very happy. So I'd have books and my money back, so that's great. I couldn't get $300 trade credit out of these books. Like, in your mind, paint a picture of the ugliest copy of Incredible Hulk 3 you've ever seen. Just roached out, completely beat to hell. I couldn't get, and this is 2011, 2012, whenever it was. So it's not today's prices, things were affordable, especially when you look in comparison to today. Yeah. And, the guy's like, I'll give you $100. And I said, bye. So I threw him back in the truck or back in the car and went to the next place. And he's like, yeah, he gave me the same old song and dance. And it was like, I'll give you $150. And I said, screw you guys. I'll do it myself. So that, it may have been 5 or 6 long boxes, basically, is what was the foundation of Como's convention stock for the first year and a half of doing this. And it's snowballed.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it has. You got a nice little following, especially on YouTube. People kind of listening to you and your advice, and you dish out a lot of great advice on top of being, somebody that sells. But so in terms of you doing this, I guess for the past 10 years, is that right?
Give or take. I actually started working for my local comic shop sometime around probably 2009, I think it was. At the time, the retailer I worked for had gone to like a 3 on, 3 off, or a 4 on, 4 off work schedule. So I always had at least one day a week where my wife, who had one of those nice 9 to 5 Monday through Friday jobs, was at work, and I had a day to run errands or just chill at the LCS. And I'd been friends with the guy who was the manager, eventually became a co-owner. Been friends with him for several years since I got back into the hobby, and I just started hanging out there. And you do a little, and you do a little more, and then eventually it's like, well, I should probably pay you for what you do here. So I've been around, being welcomed behind the curtain of the local comic shop business for probably 12 or 13 years at this point. So
okay, so you've been doing it for a while. So like right now, especially in this crazy time, obviously the pandemic's had a major effect on buying, selling. These books are going astronomically higher and higher and higher, as we'll see in our Fresh from the Comic Shop segment coming up next. What kind of trends in the market excite you right now?
Man, I don't know. That's tough. Honestly, at a personal level, like as a collector, I'm very turned off right now. There are very few books that I'm personally interested in enough that I would be willing to pay the current market price for. And that's just because, like we've been talking about, I've been doing this for a while. I was buying single digit Spider-Man for $50 and $75 a piece back when I was in college and first started getting back into the hobby. I just sold my ASM4 that I think I maybe spent $175 on back in the day for 4 times that at the last show.
Wow.
It's just, that's concerning to me. Well, it's not concerning, but it complicates it for me. As far as the market right now, I think Disney Plus is really the thing to watch, because I don't know that we know exactly how it's going to play out. I mean, WandaVision dropped in February, so we're really only 2 months into this whole slow, steady drip of weekly new content that can impact the market, in a massive way. So, 6 weeks ago, West Coast Avengers 45 was in dollar books everywhere. Or dollar book bins everywhere. Bins. Yeah, there you go. Discount bins, Yep. And now you can't touch it for $100 bill.
It's insane.
And that's one of the many options or various books out there that's doing that right now. So Disney Plus is something to watch. Really, I watched looked at some results of a comic book auction that was online this week. A buddy of mine sent me the link, and I'm seeing prices that'll just blow your hat off your head. It's unbelievable what people are paying for books right now. So that tells me that the demand is strong. There's a lot of motivated buyers in the market. I don't know if that is to their own peril or not, or if it's just people that are kind of at that crossroads of, I'm either going to do it now and I'm going to have it, or I'm going to not pull the trigger and I'm just going to watch it go by. And I'm never going to be able to get that. AF-15, that book sailed for a lot of people a long time ago. Hulk 181 is like the caboose of that same train. It is leaving the station. And it's just, there's no stopping the books that are lining up right behind that. I've been saying for years that Bronze Age, the time is now. That's no longer the case. Bronze Age, the time was 3 to 5 years ago. And you're already seeing Copper take off.
Yep.
I am personally looking for a copy of TMNT 1 first print. I've got the money sitting in the bank, but you can't find anybody who's crazy enough to sell one right now.
Wow. Yeah.
Which in a way is kind of a return to form for that book, because if you think back a few years ago, Overstreet wouldn't even put values for the first print in the book because it was so volatile because they never changed hands. So it's up. Up is the only way to really describe the trend right now. I don't know how else to put it.
Now
I want to jump in
real
here.
Quick, Chris, I just want to
remind you, go ahead.
Put some questions in here for Drew. I'm sure he'll be happy to answer them. There's a couple questions here we'll get to in a second. Chris, go ahead.
Yeah, I like Drew how you broke that down there. You made some great points about there are people that are like, I'm going to get it now. I'm going to get it now. Obviously they have the money for it, and then there's those that are just saying, putting their hands up and really probably coming to a realization that it's just not going to happen. I'm almost at that point, and this may seem a bit of a really question mark, but Uncanny X-Men 266. Now, we all know that this book is still decently affordable if you put it in perspective with other blue chip keys. You can still get a 9.4, 9.6 for what, like 300 at this point, which is like double what it was a year ago. But even me, like as somebody who a year ago was looking at a like 9.2 CGC for $100 and a year ago and not wanting to pay that much for it and beating myself up, I'm at a point to where it's like, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not. And, some of that is the fact of I don't know if it's going to be volatile in the market in the future, or it's just, I would rather take that money and put it into something that I feel is a little more worthy for my personal taste as a collector, like maybe some Bronze Age stuff or even some Silver Age Spider-Man run fillers, right?
There you
go. So you got a lot of these dynamics right now. And I just wanted to really point out that the way that you just discussed that, I think speaks to a lot of the personality in the hobby right now. And I don't think it's not a bad thing. It's the way. It's not a bad thing or a good thing. I think it's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And I think, because I just did a live stream today on my channel about touching up on a video that I did early in the week about all the doomsdayers that are saying the comic book market is going to crash. And I said, guys, we got to put it in perspective. Economics, ebb and flow, healthy market, dips are healthy. So if we have to look at what's going on right now as an evolution of the comic book market, how do you feel? And maybe you could take, you're going to probably take two approaches to this question. Okay. You're going to take approach as probably a collector, and then you're going to take approaches as a businessman. But how do you feel collectors who are not out there right now with crap loads of money being that, I'm going to get it now. I'm going to get it now. I don't care what it is. I'm going to grab it. Why can't, whatever. What is your advice to those collectors that may be kind of feeling this weird feeling of the market is so hot right now, and I just don't know what to do, if I should spend my money or how I should spend my money and how I should be collecting?
Okay. I think this is a great inflection point for collectors. It's a great moment to stop and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What's my priority? Do I still want to collect the same way now that I have been collecting up to this point? I've been buying all these books because I used to like those characters. I'm just doing it because that's what I've always done. It's become the tradition of how I collect comics. And depending on what that has been, maybe now's the point in time where you say, I've had these books, I've enjoyed these books. It's time to pivot. It's time to change how I collect. And I can take, 75%, 50%, 33%, whatever it is, and I can turn that into liquid funds that I can in turn reinvest into what I would really like to collect right now. And this comes back, and this is a point I'm going to do. I've been saying I'm going to do a video about this for a year, and I've never gotten to it. So if anybody is here and listening to me and gives a damn, lean in at this point, because this is my biggest thing in the world that I've never talked about before. And if I can not choke myself out before I actually deliver this, the point is, in my opinion, the way I approach collecting is we don't own these books. Period. There's a line in Indiana Jones that, it's what was it, Balak and Indy are talking. It's like, we are passing through history. These things are history. That's how I approach comic collecting. Wow. We are caretakers for these books because, let's be honest, these things are not made to last. You're talking about, at this point, Platinum Age books are already 125 years old. Golden Age books are rapidly closing in on 100 years old. You have to take care of this stuff if it's going to continue to exist by the end of our lifetimes. I mean, I don't know exactly how old you guys are, but I've hopefully still got a fair amount of mileage left, so by the time I check out, I hope these Golden Age books are well over 100 years old. So collect responsibly is kind of the tag I throw at the end of my videos. And to me, that's what collecting responsibly means. It means collecting in a manner in which you're preserving these books, you're appreciating these books. Take them out, read them. My God, that's what they were for. But realize that and I'm going to go back to the grave here, they're not going to put it in your casket. You can't take 30,000 comic books with you unless you own your own plot of land and have a track hoe. Then you can do what you want. But, it's just, we will eventually pass these things on. So, and I think right now that's a great way to really pivot your collection. If you're, at a point where you want to downsize your collection, you can drill in. I've got a couple things I'm working on right now, but one of them is I've finished Amazing Spider-Man like AF-15 through current. So that was my main collecting focus for years.
I'm so jealous. That's my Grail run. So
it was a booger. But I've transitioned off of different things of that now. So now my big personal collection is every Silver Age Marvel superhero. But I'm still a Spider-Man guy, so I'm drilling in further. So I'm trying to put together a high-grade run of ASM. So I have taken other things and sold things off. And, I run a business. I sell comics. So every once in a while, you got to pay yourself and get something cool. But I'm trying to put together like from 21 to 100 of 9.2. So CGC, CBCS, whatever. I don't care. 9.2 copies. But the way I really tell people that I hate myself is it's got to be off-white, white, or white pages only. So it's not just, the grade. It's got to be a nice high quality paper quality as well. So that's a way, that's a good example of downsizing your collection when you narrow in that. But I've also, and this is, I can't say that I've seen it enough just due to the lack of opportunity since the lockdown. I've only had 3 shows since the beginning of January 2020. I did one in February before the lockdown. I did one in October, and these have all been in St. Louis. I did one in October 2020, and I did one last month. And with the prices the way they are in that very narrow cross section of examples, I've seen collectors that before were completely key driven. For the last 2 to 3 years, that's all anybody ever wanted. I was selling very little out of my boxes, which are usually your run fillers, your lower grade stuff. And I think for the most part, my friends in the collecting or in the vending game around the area would kind of feel the same way. Everybody just wanted to buy off the wall. And that's starting to turn. I have the last 2 shows I've done more out of the boxes than I did off the wall, which for me as a vendor is amazing. If I can make my show out of those boxes, I go home, exhausted, but very happy. And, I got money to buy whatever I want on my way out of town for dinner and celebrate. Because we're at a point right now on the reselling side, and this is going to lead into part of the reason why prices were jumping so much before the lockdown. In a way, I think it's kind of continued behind the scenes during the lockdown. the prices for wall books are to the point, and just the availability of wall books are getting to the point where every time I sell a book, I don't know what I'm going to have to do to replace it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it used to be when I'd get a call and it was 80s and 90s comics, I'm like, damn it. Okay, I'll go take a look. Maybe it'll be all right. But back then, ASM 300 was a $150 book. That was the best you could hope for.
Yeah.
New Mutants 98 was 125 or 150. Now it's a little different. But Silver Age collections are so hard to come by. Golden Age collections, I am surprised when that's what it is, and it's literally something that rarely happens.
Let me jump in here with one little quick question as well to this. So I like what you're talking about, because I've been saying how, first off, people mistake supply and demand, and they think that they always just look at print run, but people forget to acknowledge the fact that people are holding on to books. People, like you just said, you sell one of those wall books or a key book, you don't know if you'll be able to get your hands back on one anytime soon. People are holding on to these books while the demand is continually increasing and the supply is dwindling, because it's about what's on the market at any given time. But with that being said, just a quick question to all this of what you just went over. Do you see, and let's focus on specifically key books, whether it's Silver Age or Bronze Age, or even more copper, modern, like maybe New Mutants 98 or even Amazing Spider-Man 300. These key books, do you see an influx of these books coming on the market anytime soon?
An influx, with the newer ones, it would be hard to say yes, just because they've always been so prevalent. I mean, I believe, check my math, somebody, I believe Amazing Spider-Man 300 is the most graded copy or issue CGC has. Like, they've graded more of those than any other book in the world. So that's just the perfect cross, or intersection of a massively popular character that came out at a point where you had a superstar artist on the book, the print run was massive, and people were collecting at that point. So there's this huge supply. The demand is obviously kept up to the point where that book is still super hot. Is it a little overinflated right now? Maybe. Just strictly to your point, due to the supply element, it is a book. If you walk into a comic show and you don't see a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300 in the first 3 booths you hit, turn around and leave, because that show is not going to be worth continuing to shop. Right. They are like cockroaches. I don't know. As far as Silver Age, it depends. I'll give you a peek behind the curtain. When you go to any of these major shows and you have larger national vendors in the room, because I consider myself like a regional guy. I'll go to like neighboring states and stuff like that. I try to keep my drive between 3 and 5 hours if I can. The day before the show starts, whether it's setup day, the morning before the public gets in, all it is a rat race of the national level vendors roaming the room, trying to buy all of this stuff from the smaller local and regional guys, because that's how they get their stock. They have to come and pay 90% of retail, 80% of retail, and that's based on the assumption that whatever, we've got the books marked at is actual retail, and, we haven't already built in some of that haggle into the price. And then, you eventually learn who some of these guys are. It's like, well, I know you're going to take it down there and you're just going to put some asinine price on it. So, if you want it, this is the price. But then when you go to negotiate with some of these people, they don't have any wiggle room, because they're already in the book as much or more than what it's worth. So they have to get that premium out of it to, make anything. So it's just kind of crazy. And I'll be completely honest, after I got done talking about ASM 300, I completely blanked on what the question was. So I've just been trying to fill it. So if I need to go back for another swing, let me know.
Well, I think you addressed really looking at the supply of these books and how, I mean, just that point right there. And I think with that example you just gave is probably speaks to more, you know, the Silver Age, blue chips and whatnot. So I think
what I call the mega keys.
Right. And that kind of answers the question, because I think it goes to show you again that, you know, even though they're, you know, and I think people forget how high print runs were even in the Silver Age, you know, they're higher than they are now. So, you know, it's not that there's still not a lot of these books in existence. It's just people are holding them and they are just very hard to come by on the marketplace. And I think that's a very important thing that we need to not, you know, forget about.
Well, everybody grab your emotional support animal. Let's get real. We are at a point where baby boomers are actively passing on. There will be an influx of silver and bronze age collections into the market in the next 6 months to 10 years. It's going to happen. You're looking at instances where for the most part, the heirs don't care about the books. They don't give a crap about the books. They just know they're worth a lot of money. And partly that's already starting to happen. It's not super common, but we're kind of in this weird transition point where, or gray area kind of between where I see people who are at the point in life where they are downsizing. They're realizing that, you know, I need to take care of some of this stuff and maybe I can enjoy something. I can take a nice trip or something before, you know, my days are done. And I'm sorry to kind of go so dark, but this is real. This is real
reality of it. Yep.
So you've got people that are downsizing and moving their collections. You know, they'll take their money and they're going to enjoy it. Then you, on the flip side of that, you have the people who aren't doing that, and then the kids have it, and all they know, like I said, is they're worth money. So honestly, it's so much better to deal with the actual collectors themselves, because when it gets down to it, so many of these people, they want the books to go to somebody who will appreciate them. So that's the main thing. So I think as far as Silver Age goes, we are going to be in a point where eventually we're going to see more of these books start to come back to the market. Just like in the 70s, you started to see these big influxes of Golden Age books for the same reasons. The advantage, as far as collectors and stuff goes with Silver Age, is these books didn't go through book burnings. These books didn't go through paper drives for World War II. You know, so despite the fact that, you know, they still were bought to be read and all that, they weren't always taken care of the best. They weren't actively being pursued for destruction like so many Golden Age books were. And I love pre-code horror. That's one of my favorite things in the world. And that stuff is just, it's incredibly hard to come by for the reasons I just listed. So I think we're going to be okay. Bronze Age is out there. You know, by that point, people were actively collecting. Those books are out in the world somewhere. So it's just, once people get to the point where they start letting things go.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I want to get to some audience questions here, and start off with Desired Comics. Como, what buying strategies are you applying in this market, or are you on the sidelines waiting? I don't think you can afford to wait, can you?
Honestly, I am kind of in the same boat as some friends of mine. A lot of us, going into the lockdown, we're just hoarding cash, you know, waiting for, and that's the sad part, or the sad reality of it is, we anticipated that depending on how this thing went, there would be a lot of inventory that would be coming into the market as people had to let go of their collections for whatever reasons. So there were a lot of us that were like, okay, business decision, we need to be sitting on cash so that we can pick these things up. As it turned out, it wasn't that bad, thankfully. There were a few collections I bought, but I don't feel like it was any more or any less than I would have bought in a normal year for the most part. That made me happy. Just because from the humanity side of it, it's like, you know, I would much rather buy a collection that somebody's ready to sell than a collection that somebody has to sell. right now, as far as my buying strategy, personally, I'm extremely selective on what I'm buying. As far as my business side, I've got my ads out there. Emails are fairly steady, and I had a really good like late winter. I went like 3 or 4 Saturdays in a row. I was going and buying collections, anything from a small collection of Golden Age books to original like 1977 Star Wars figures. Just bam, bam, bam. So my strategies is one of the worst moments I've had as a collector is when I changed from my retail job to my current job. I walked into one of my favorite local comic shops in St. Louis, and he had a lower grade JIM 83. I just changed jobs. I didn't have the $800 he wanted for this book. And it has haunted me to this day because I still don't have one. So the main strategy I have is make sure you have funds available, because as soon as you get to the point where you're like, maybe I want to go do this or I want to go do that, that's when the phone is going to ring.
Right.
And I got another one. A buddy of mine wound up getting this collection, so it's all good. Phone rang. Hey, I've got this collection, We were told it was low grade, TOS 39, Strange Tales 110. We get there, it's mid grade copies. This collection today is worth buku bucks. My AC or my heater went out. I had to replace my entire HVAC system. So I'm like, maybe I shouldn't drop I think it was $2K. What the collection went for now. Literally the Tales of Suspense is worth 4 times what the collection cost us when we bought it.
Wow.
Because I hate myself, and I wanted to go with my buddy and make sure we got the right deal and got the book secured. So I got to sit there and watch him land some beautiful books, which he's now talking about selling, just because they're worth astronomical amounts of money, and he can really turn that into some cool stuff. So make sure you're in a position where you can go, and you've just got to be patient. That's the main thing. Read the market. If people are already talking about a book, and this is probably going to be the worst thing I'm going to say as far as trying to convince people that they should subscribe to my channel or keep watching, guys like us that do this stuff. If somebody's already talking about a book, it's kind of already too late.
Yeah.
I mean, just let's be honest.
That's a good point, especially with all of the content and the access and the information you have these days. It's incredible what we've seen happen in the past year or so. Back when you were talking about, like, you started off with like 5 boxes as kind of a this business. Charlie Kirkland, she asked, how many boxes do you have now?
Business or personal?
Let's go both.
Yeah.
My personal collection is about 60 half boxes, 60 to 65 shorts. And that's just because I can't hold anymore in my little room. As far as my actual inventory, it's not as much as you might think. I blew out a bunch of my bulk books back in late 2019. But it's probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 to 90 long boxes when you take into consideration the stuff I haven't got processed yet. I've been driving around for 3 weeks with like 8 long boxes in the back of my truck that I just need to go through. They've been through the first scrub, and now they're getting ready to be divvied up into either $1, $3, $5, that kind of stuff.
Wow. That's an incredible, like that obviously takes a lot of time, and mad respect for you and what you do here. I'm going to ask, I think we got one more question here. I'm going to ask one more question. I don't know, Chris, if you have another, but I think in one of your recent videos, you've expressed that you don't see this market having the floor pulled out from under it. You don't see, like, I think you may have said that you thought it may just, they can't maintain this, but I think you've changed your tune. Can you tell us why you changed your tune and why you think that this will continue on?
I have been saying the bottom was going to, not the bottom was going to fall out, but it just, things can't keep going higher for 5-6 years. It's like, I've literally been saying this so long that the first person I remember telling that to is no longer here. that's how long I've been telling people that, it's just not sustainable. I've been proven wrong. We've been dealt a really, really odd hand where, my opinion, I don't know that I can back this up factually, but there are other markets out there right now that have been on such hot streaks. The people that have been the beneficiaries of those hot streaks are now looking to diversify. So you've got the NFT market that blew up. People were buying $5,000 NFTs and selling them for $100,000 or $200,000. You've got Bitcoin and other crypto, that's just insane right now. Ball cards are nuts. I wanted a Michael Jordan rookie card since I was a kid. That ship has sailed. I don't think I could buy half of a Michael Jordan rookie card right now. And I just feel like there's a lot of that money that's starting to come into the market, especially the ball card guys. Mad respect to those guys, because they are just insane as far as being dedicated to their craft. And I'll also give the ball card market credit. They make comic book grading look like a kindergarten course, man. They are unforgiving as all hell when it comes to grading cards. And just thankfully, we don't do that, because nobody would ever see a 9.8 again.
Yeah. Right.
So I think that's a big part of it. Also, the obvious, we haven't been able to go out. We haven't been able to go out to eat, go out to bars and drink, go out and travel anywhere. There's just a lot of the people that weren't overly financially impacted in a negative way still have as much, if not more money to put into the market, and they don't have a thing to do with their time other than sit there on eBay or Heritage or Comic Link or whatever. And it's like, yeah, I got to stare at these walls. I might as well cover them in Silver Age Marvel books. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. We can go on for hours with you. Your knowledge is vast, but I think everybody.
I have the gift of gab.
What's that?
I have the gift of gab.
But it's to our benefit. It's to our audience's benefit here. I implore all of you guys to follow Drew down below. The link is down below. Como Comics. His YouTube link is below. He's got his handle here, his Instagram handle. He's also got his website, comocomicbooks.com. Wealth of knowledge, guys. I have to say, Chris, I may be speaking for you, but I think you've passed this interview test. I think you can continue on as our guest co-host for Comic Book Canon. Everybody, give him
I think he slid by.
Just barely, Drew.
F plus.
And we can cut you at any point here. By any point, we can cut you.
All right.
But, I don't think I've ever done this on the show, Jeff, in the middle of a show, but I saw one comment from Joe Medina. What's going on, Joe, by the way? I just have to address it. I absolutely have to address it. I've never done this in almost a year. Not that one, but
I'll take it.
I appreciate that. Yeah. That's great. So Joe asks, is there a true fair market value for the average collector who has only so much to spend? I read this like a few minutes ago, and I'm listening, and I'm like, I got to say something about this question. Joe, I got to answer this for you before we go on to our next segment. A fair market value is a fair market value. It doesn't matter how much you have in your pocket. It doesn't matter if your car broke down or you ran out of gas and you only got $2 in your pocket and you're trying to get a $4 gallon of gas. That fair market value for that gallon of gas is still $4. So a fair market value is a fair market value no matter how much money you have in your wallet. And that's why I've been saying lately, we cannot feel entitled to any book whatsoever. Focus on what you can afford. A lot of points that Drew made tonight about, look, you can't afford everything. So focus on what you may want. Stop, raiding the back issue bins and spending $2, $3, $4 on 50 books. Save all that money to get yourself a nice key at a decent fair market value that you can now afford because you have more money in your pocket. So I had to address that because I really I like this question because I think a lot of people right now are really not understanding that, look, this is the way it is. And if we want to continue to enjoy this hobby, we got to accept it, no matter if we like it or not. And we got to still focus on the positive.
And absolutely. Can I hop in one?
Yeah.
I won't go too far down the rabbit hole. In this, especially if you get to the point where you're starting to buy collections, Joe, and anybody else who's interested in this, you will have opportunities to pay under full or fair market value. You will. At that point, you've got to decide if you can sleep with yourself, or not sleep with yourself, but sleep with, you know what I mean? If you can sleep at night.
There you go.
A lot of times what you're dealing with, whether it's widows or, the kids of people who've passed away, whatever, you owe it to these people to be fair to them. Do not please give people like me, other collectors out there who try and do right by the owners of these collections, please don't do us wrong by trying to save yourself a few bucks in the short term. The reputation of comic collectors and comic dealers can be really, really, as a whole, can be really fragile. And if you have a bunch of people out there who are just absolutely being sharks and not paying a fair price for books, it's not good. I don't care for it. I could use some really foul language to describe it, but be sure that you're being fair to these people when, if you have the opportunity to do so.
That's well said, man. That's something that is not thought about as a collective whole. This group is and it's nice to have somebody like you kind of express that, because that's definitely important. Yeah, but I'll tell you what.
And we all make mistakes. So if you need to go back and give somebody more money, or you miss something, or whatever, it's just be a good person.
Absolutely, but I did have to bring this up. Tom told me he would sleep with I would sleep with myself, but I don't want to cheat on my wife.
Hey,
we'll get into that later, Tom, when we get into
Oh my goodness. Whew.
Yeah. He always adds so much, even if it's not from the Cosmic Minute. But all right, here we go, guys. This, a lot of you have probably been waiting for the show. You're like, oh my gosh, enough with the news, enough with Drew, because we want to see stuff about us, because we sent comic books in, and this is the segment we do every week. It is called, Chris, I'm going to tee you up. What is it called, Chris?
Fresh from the comic shop.
That is correct. Live from the pressing salon, play on words from the Fresh Prince. Each and every week we ask you guys, the audience, to send us your fresh gets from your LCS, from mail calls, from AOKs. They could be books that just came out 2 days ago, or they could be books that came out 20 years ago. What have you? It doesn't matter. Just show us your fresh gets. Tag us. That's right. Tag us on Instagram at Comic Book Canon. We also have a hashtag we're going to start doing. I didn't even talk to Chris about this, but I think FFTCS, Fresh from the Comic Shop, will work, because there's another FFCS, and I don't know what that means. Maybe I'm ignorant, naive, what have you. Scared to ask. But FFTCS doesn't seem like it has much going on. Let's make it ours. Tag us each and every week. But also, we have a guest on each and every week, as you know. We have a very special guest this week, Drew. He's going to be sharing his fresh gets from the comic book shop. Chris and I will be as well. So it's just going to be a party, and we're just going to get started. As always, we start with our guest. Drew, it's kind of like a round robin where we go you, audience, Chris, me, etc. Cool. But we're going to take your single shot, and you tell us what you got fresh from the comic shop. What do you got, Drew?
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell us. It's not fresh from the comic shop this week. So these are the last 5 books I picked up. I'm still in pretty good with my comic shop, so I don't have to go every week, and I don't read a lot of new stuff. So first, most recent book I got, picked this up at a show I did last month. So this is, forgive the Mylar, an 8.5 CGC copy of, let's find my camera, Tales of Suspense 48 with off-white to white pages. It's the first appearance of the red and gold Iron Man armor, and that's just never gonna look good.
It looks fantastic, and you're gonna. So yeah, honestly, man, Like Nerdy Girl Comics, remember that one week? I feel like we're going down the same road, Chris. I feel like we're going down
Danielle and I are not on the same level. I mean, I might be on the rung of the ladder she's on that's like shoved down in the mud somewhere.
Matt S. loves what you got. We got Dan De La Torre. He loves what you got as well. I love it. I know Chris does. But Chris, before we get into what you got, why don't we get into our audience here? And good friend of the show, Azores Tiger from Spine Ticks. Their link is down below, by the way. He just wanted to share that he sent in a ton, by the way, this week. Azores Tigers, Young Avengers #1. He had a ton submitted, but this is the one people are really talking about right now. Azores, thank you so much for sending this in. This is a book, guys. It is just going to go up, up, up. And I would say, correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, Chris, but a lot of it has to do with Disney Plus and what they're doing there.
Yeah.
And it's another one is like what you said earlier, Drew, is like the ship has kind of sailed on this one in terms of getting it for a reasonable price for a modern book that came out, what was it, 2005 maybe or something like that?
If I'm over here looking depressed, it's just because I sold all mine at like $50 and $75.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you put it on the wall, you just got to sell it. But I've still got a director's cut left, so I'm not completely out of the game.
All right, that's a nice one to hold on to. Again, it's happening. You've seen it in WandaVision. You've seen it in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Hawkeye's coming around the corner, and you have Miss Marvel. I mean, it's there for a Young Avengers group.
I like some of the other books in that run more than I really like the #1. I think 6 has been strong. I've been hunting for 6 for a while. 12's good. Was it 10 as her first cover appearance? Yeah. So I like some of those real well. Be
on the lookout for those.
And they're a lot more affordable than the ones still.
Absolutely. You can maybe able to still find those in some dollar bins, maybe. I did. There you go, right there. All right, one more for the audience here. We got Comic Noob. When you get that feeling there might be something interesting at a new thrift store, $2 each. Not too bad for this. Was this McFarlane's last Spider-Man work or even Marvel work, I do believe. Is that correct?
No, that would have been Spider-Man. Was it 16? I think was the very last one.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because Larson took over Amazing while he was doing Spider-Man.
Right. Maybe this is his last work on the Hulk for Marvel. I mean, like working with the Hulk. I can't remember. There's something. I have this book myself. I love it.
It's very late in his Amazing run. I can't remember because he like skips an issue and then comes back. And I can't remember if it's that or
right. Anyways, it's a nice pickup. 3 of those for $2 each. Like that's fantastic. It's going.
I'd have bought them.
Much more than $2. So good on you, Comic Noob. Thank you for sending that in, Chris. What do you got fresh from the comic shop this week, man?
All right. Well, let's talking about some Bronze Age books and looking at a market right now where I'm going for, and we were just talking about how. If somebody's talking about it, it's already too late. And this is why I like focusing things that aren't necessarily on people's radar. And this isn't a key or anything, but when we look at what people are paying attention to these days, I'm looking at absolutely anything Galactus. So here's the Dazzler #10 with Galactus. And even Dazzler, there's a lot of, her first appearance is booming. X-Men stuff is just booming right now. But Dazzler, this has been a run that you can easily find in the 50-cent dollar bin forever, but not so much these days. So, but I just love anything Galactus right now, and really cool cover.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, man. And that's like a double dip too, because you got Galactus and Dazzler. Mm-hmm. Dazzler's another character, guys, you may want to be on the lookout for because I guarantee Marvel is going to want to do something with her. By the way, we have a few comments here. Michelle, a.k.a. Moonlit Comics. I think that the previous one, that's McFarlane's last work on Amazing Spider-Man. Desired Comics also mentioned that. And Planet Arizona Comics confirmed it.
And shameless plug here to kind of combine the last two things together. If you're a Todd McFarlane fan and a Dazzler fan, in one of my last videos I talked about McFarlane's Marvel Tales covers, and there are a couple Dazzler covers in that.
Interesting. So, okay. Guys,
if you want your Todd and Dazzler combo.
Link below. Check them out. All right. Before I get to my first fresh pick of the week, we're going to get into – all right. this is a tricky one because I followed up with Cover Junkie Comics. He sent this in for Fresh from the Comic Shop, but did not say what this is. So I don't know.
Supervillain team up.
Which number it is, though?
Yeah, what number is that?
That's the thing. So if anybody could tell us what that is, or Cover Junkie Comics, if you're in the chat, please share this with us. I followed up with you. Yeah. Could not hear back, but he's a big Dr. Doom fan. He watches the show. Very happy to have you there. We also have
it's number two.
Oh, there you go.
Number 2?
Yeah, and that run because of Doom has been picking up. I just picked up a couple issues in that as well.
Yep. Yeah, that's a nice cover too.
And you can find those in discount bins all day long.
Absolutely. All right, and then we have Coveted Comics with Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 3, number 9. The Spider-Verse begins here. A new arrival to the PC today. Beyond ecstatic to have Spider-Gwen's second appearance, and much, much more going on in this book. That is fantastic. Good pick up, Coveted Comics. All right, guys, I've been so busy. Last week, I was all disheveled. I wasn't even at my home base here. But this week, I just had no time to go to the shop. I got some of the stuff in the mail here.
All right.
They're all new books, guys. Again, so I feel a little small compared to Drew, but that's fine. And Chris. But here we go. I got a Joker number 2. This cover's freaking awesome. It's the Bermejo. Am I pronouncing his last name correct? The Punchline. Joker number 2. I think this came out this past week. I can't even remember. Again, I'm having trouble.
Awesome cover.
Remembering all of it.
Yeah.
The first
slightly disturbing.
It is. Of course it is. Look at these little Joker dots. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on there. But it's a really nice looking cover. It's a beautiful cover. And it's also the first appearance of Bane's daughter, Vengeance. So a lot of people are really hot on that as well. All right.
That's how you know we're getting old, guys. All the villains we grew up with have kids that are super villains.
Yeah, right.
I wish you didn't say that. All right. Moving on, though. We have some more from you guys sending some stuff in. We got good friend Dan De La Torre. He always sends the good stuff. Here we go, Dan. I got 2 issues for this Friday's. Very special, fresh from the comic shop. He gave us the FFTCS as well. Hashtag FFTCS. I'm going to bring it up before I continue on with what he said. Oh, and Siri's having trouble hearing me, by the way. That was Siri talking. So basically, Dan De La Torre, I've got 2 issues for this Friday's very special fresh from the comic shop. I want to make a good impression on your special guest. That's you, Drew. Here is 2001: A Space Odyssey, the first appearance of Machine Man. And also, guys, he also included in this fresh from the comic shop Machine Man number 1 at a 9.8. Wow. Both are Bronze Age Jack Kirby goodness. What did 2001 have? Oh, 9.6. Not bad. Dan De La Torre again.
I was clapping off screen when that book came up.
Once again.
I've owned every single issue of that run, but I've never found an 8. Ever.
Oh, you never found a 9.8 on Machine Man 1?
Or no, on 2001.
He's got 9.6 there, but that's still pretty good.
Well, no, issue 8, though. I've never had a copy of it.
Oh, I got you. Okay, got it. Yeah.
And spoiler alert, the rest of them aren't worth anything.
Anyways, those are some great pickups. And Drew, it's now your turn, fresh from the comic shop.
All right. Well, I'm gonna kick it old school here. When I first started reading Spider-Man, it was Mark Bagley's run, and we were knee deep in clones. So I traded a buddy of mine to get this at the last show I did. So if you look very closely, you'll see this is white. It's not gray. So I traded a Alpha Flight 51, which is the first Jim Lee, if I remember right. It's first Jim Lee art in Marvel. So I traded that for this 1 in 10,000 white copy of ASM 400. So
that's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. By the way, I'm sorry. I'm reading these comments. P. Keel, can you post mine from last week that got buried? P. Keel, I do believe we did not, and I apologize for that. Sometimes it's hard, it's fast and furious, so we miss some things, and we apologize for that. So P. Keel, please send us in again. I guarantee you will be on next week, so I apologize for that miss there. Moving on to more of our audience here, though. We got Disney Funko Family, a nice pickup from my local comic book shop. What do you think? X-Men 256, the first new Psylocke. I like that, guys. These characters, we've seen, these kind of secondary X-Men characters. It's not a bad get. It absolutely, it would probably not only just to have it in your personal collection, but also if you're looking to invest. If you're looking to invest, those are ways to go about that. The secondary characters.
That's one of my favorite X-Men books ever. Mm-hmm. I love Psylocke.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually come back down a little bit. It got real hot year and a half or so ago. I think it's come back down a bit. Isn't it about $15-$20 right now?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. We can check on the old cover price here in a minute.
It's not too shabby. And, when you think of, I think Psylocke, as much as there's a lot of people I know probably around our age that grew up loving Psylocke, but for some reason, it's just the demand hasn't been there. We saw Olivia Munn briefly.
Did a great job
in that horrible movie. She did a great job. I hated the movie, but she was hardly in it, and it's like, man,
that was a terrible movie.
Yeah, they need to do her justice in the MCU, and I think that's done. Psylocke is a character. I think that, as we're still here. We want to see more of this character, and I think the younger generation could pick up on this character if we see her done right in the MCU.
The problem with Psylocke is she's so fragmented, right? Because you've got the first Betsy Braddock in Captain Britain. Was it 8, I think? That thing is impossible to find since it's a British book. Then you've got was it New Mutants Annual 2, right? Yeah. Then you've got this. So nobody seems to know what's the right book. Do you need to get the trifecta? Can you just get 1 or 2?
Hell yeah, you do. Yeah. Get them all. Get them all.
They're mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's part of the problem, but I mean, the market will sort that out. I kind of feel like New Mutants 2's the Annual 2's the main one.
Yeah.
Hey guys, since we're talking about investments, Comic Toby, as a successful businessman, I recommend that a good investment is suit, shirt, tie, and fresh new shoes to match. I just want to throw that out there.
I love it.
Another type of an investment. Yeah. We agree with you. I'm not.
I didn't know I needed to rock my 3-piece tonight, but I mean, I could have.
We did ask you. That was in the production notes, and you did not.
Reading is hard, my friends. Reading is hard.
All right.
There you go.
All right, sorry. No dress shoes today, but sorry. Showing off my kicks.
Yeah. Anyways, the pandemic, I don't even know how to dress anymore. Really. Also, we got Cork Moss with Invincible Volume 1. This looks like some sort of an omnibus, and I'm enjoying this Amazon series. I think I've seen three episodes. It's wow. It's I think it's nailing it on the head, if you ask me. All right, so Chris, you are up next, fresh from the comic shop. What do you got?
Oh, Mylar. Hey, did you guys see the meme that's going, or the post that's going trending on social media of the empty Mylar bag saying once held a near mint on 181?
It's funny you should mention that because the guy who originally did that is in the chat.
Oh, nice.
Like it was swiped off of a reel he did. And so he hasn't got credit for a lot of it. But he is in the chat, or he was. If he's not in the chat, I'm going to make fun of him. Yep, there he is, Tom.
Tom
Parker.
Tom is a buddy of mine. He's out of Lawrence, Kansas. He runs an outfit called Middle School Geek Comics. Fantastic. So he's at a lot of the same shows I'm at. So
that is absolutely fantastic. Good on you.
Just awesome. So Tom, you inspire me because today I'm just showing off a Mylar. This once held a no, I'm just kidding. It's a book, but I couldn't help myself. I love it. I love it. So kudos to you, Tom. This book is just an awesome Silver Age Fantastic Four 42.
Nice, man.
Very nice.
Fantastic Four has been a run that I've been working on for a long time. And right now, I think, there's some books, some early books that you can still pick up for decently cheap. We haven't had them in the MCU yet. And when that happens, there's going to be a lot more attention. And we know that the stories surrounding these characters are absolutely endless. And we've already seen how a lot of these properties are allowing books that may not be huge keys. Maybe they just have certain things picked out and plucked out from a storyline or something like that. And then they just get hot. So, so I'm going after, if I can right now, it's really Fantastic Four, Thor, and Amazing Spider-Man Silver Age run fillers, if I could find them for a good price.
That's a beautiful book. And any Kirby, I mean, like early, it's just, I love, you got to love, how can you not? How can you not love Kirby?
I'm so thankful I started working on that run years ago. I literally need 3 more issues to have all of the Lee and Kirby books. And they're not the hard ones. So thank God.
Good on you. That's freaking amazing. Yeah. By the way, the bearded one just really is questioning your commitment here. Warlock and the Infinity Watch. Come on, Chris, show us. I question your commitment as well. All right, before we get to my next book here, we got Matt S. Matt S says he missed a few weeks at the LCS, but was able to catch up today. Check out that Geiger #1 Fabok variant. They're hearing a lot of great things about Geiger. I got my Geiger from TFAW, and I'm still waiting on it, but there's some other good books he's gotten here. You got that final King in Black I have yet to read. The Venom, I guess the last King in Black Venom. There's that Hulk 45, I think that is. I'm not sure which Thor that could be. Probably 14, where they end that run with Donald Blake. I enjoyed that storyline. So good stuff, Matt. Before we get again to mine, we got Michelle, a.k.a. Moonlit Comics. I'm very excited about this book, The Incredible Hulk 296 from 1984. The cover art by the amazing Bill Sienkiewicz, interior art by Sal Buscema and Gary Taylock. So dope, and one of the first Volume 1 Hulk issues I picked up for my collection so far. And she actually got this from Chris. Chris is the one.
That's right.
Is wonderful. That Rom on the cover? Is that Hulk versus Rom?
Yes, it is. Yep.
Nice.
Yes, it is. Dude, Rom, God, I remember that. You talk about dating yourself. I remember that toy. I absolutely remember that toy. All right, moving on to my book. Again, guys, this is a newer book right here. I haven't been able to read it yet, but I do love Chip Zdarsky, what he does here. And I'm hearing a lot of people liking this one. The Silver Coin, kind of an anthology series about this coin, I guess, that gets passed along. This is about some band. It's a cursed coin, I think, is what it is. I'm hearing a lot about this. Can't wait to actually get to read it. But I just picked this one up as well. I've been busy, guys. Get off my back, please. All right. Before we get to Drew's, we're going to get into our audience as well. You guys crushed it again this week. They're becoming more and more. And again, Pete Keel, I apologize profusely because we are getting so many of these in different areas on our social media. It's kind of hard to keep up. So please send it in. I will prioritize your fresh get next week. Chris and I will make sure we give you a shout out.
Although I don't know if I'm supposed to say this.
Yo, what's up?
I hear the hot new way to get your book in is to text it to you directly. Is that right?
Yeah, somebody actually texted me. I don't know who this person is. I don't know how they got my number. I love you guys, but I really hope that most of you don't have my number because I get enough texts as it is from people that I see on a daily basis or hear from on a daily basis. I'm sorry. Please don't take offense to that. That was terrible. We got nerds being nerds.
Ooh.
Look at this. Fresh from the CBCS. I guess you just got this in from CBCS. Strange Tales 146. The last Steve Ditko Doctor Strange book. Man, this shout out is for Chris, Journos Comics. I know he's working on that Strange Tales run. Check out the Nerds Being Geeks YouTube channel to see the rest of the CBCS Comics Haul this Sunday. They got some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Silver Age Marvel in all its graded glory. He says he has a link to his YouTube channel in the bio. We put it in here as well. So scroll all the way down. Nerds Being Geeks, probably one of the best names out there. Loving that. Not subscribe to their channel, but also subscribe to Drew's channel, for God's sakes. I mean, That's why you're here.
If you want to, yeah.
Just do it.
One thing I will say, if you guys haven't had a chance to check out that new CBCS case, it's pretty legit.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's, you know how the old ones you can kind of flex a little and it's like, I don't know about that.
I don't mess with that.
These things are tough, and they're crystal clear. So I recommend them.
Yeah, I'm gonna be sending some.
This is the CBCS right here.
Yeah, that's way old because that's the studded, right? It's got the little rivets at the top. Yeah.
I'll be sending off some books to CBCS for the first time this year.
Yeah.
I own a few, but it's going to be the first time I'll actually send some off.
They have a soft spot in my heart because I sent them an order like right when they started their pressing division. They were at a show in St. Louis. I'm like, hey, I've got some books I want to get pressed. Out of the box, I got a 9.6 181, a 9.6 ASM 121, a 9.6 ASM 122, and a 5.5 Strange Tales 110 that I sent to them at like a 3 or a 3.5. It had this gnarly spine roll. So I've respected them since that.
All right.
And here we go. For our next audience. Sorry, I'm getting a little lost here. Our next audience submission here. I like this one, guys. I really, really like this one. This is from Red Room Comics, Miles Morales, number 5, and the previews. This is a Starling cameo and previews issue 19. Starling is she's an interesting character too. I think she's the granddaughter of the Vulture, and I think she's been a love interest of Miles. I've read both of the 5 and 6 of the series. I really enjoyed it, and I like her as a character. You know, she's another Vulture basically, but really enjoy it. So those are nice pickups, especially again if we start seeing her in a Disney Plus show. Miles, there's going to be he's too hot not to be in an action film. So we already have a connection with his uncle being in the first Spider-Man and et cetera, et cetera. All right, Drew, you are on. What do you got, buddy?
All right. Well, I kind of set a theme last time. I mean, it's a short-lived theme, but this is a book I've wanted for a long time, since I was a kid, actually, and I just broke down and bought it the other day. So I have a CGC 9.2. Forgive the Mylar, guys. Sorry. It's a 9.2 white pages copy of Amazing Spider-Man 149.
Nice. Look at that.
Death of the Jackal, First and Death of the Spider Clone, all that goodness. So I wanted this for a long time. And I kind of like 9.2s. I feel like they're the perfect intersection of this book looks really good and I can still afford to pay the rent and eat this month.
Yes. That's an important part too, by the way. That's definitely an important part.
Yeah.
By the way, I want to give props to Nerds Being Geeks here as well. He completed the John Byrne Fantastic Four run last year. I freaking love John Byrne. I just love talking about him every chance I get. And this just gives me another opportunity to do so. And I've been talking about him a lot lately. So anyways, moving on, we have some more audience gets here. So basically I love this guy, the bearded one. Man, you are always commenting and interacting with us. We love you for it. We absolutely love you for it. Here he is with, hope I'm not too late for Fresh from the Comic Book Shop. You're not too late. Here's my entry. I got the entire series of Miracle. This is a Mr. Miracle. But per rules, here's my 5 favorite cover from my weekly loot, Mr. Miracle 1 through 5. The bearded one is also a huge Lobo fan. I think he said he has one long box dedicated to almost all of Lobo's appearances. I can't remember.
Wow.
Yeah, I can't. I think there's like 570 Lobo appearances or something. This is off the top of my head. I saw
all of them from like 1987 to 1993.
Basically, yeah.
Every comic that came out had Lobo in it.
Super hot. And hopefully he gets hot again because he's a fun character. But
yeah.
Shout out to you, the bearded one, again. Thank you all for always commenting and hanging out with us, et cetera, et cetera. And then we got Union Josh, guys. He says, this is my Fresh from the Comic Shop as well. Marvel Team Up 24 featuring Spider-Man and Brother Voodoo. The first appearance of Moondog the Malicious. I am not familiar with that character, by the way, guys. I have to throw that out there. One of the first books I picked up at my local comic shop after it opened this week. I believe he is... potentially in London. I am not sure.
That explains the Pence copy.
The what copy?
The pence. It's 7 pence.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Good point. Good point. So yeah, that would let us know where you're at. That's interesting that your comic book shop just opened this week. Yeah. All right, Chris, you are up. What do you got next? Here we go.
All right. So I'm a big Marvel guy. I mean, you guys know that. But look, man, I love my DC when I get some hands on DC, and I'm a Superman fan. I am all about the one thing about some DC stuff right now, because thanks to Warner Brothers, there's not a lot of demand on a widespread amount of stuff because of a successful movie franchise. So I've been filling some Superman and Action Comics holes for dirt cheap. And here's another one: Action Comics number 364, beautiful Silver Age 12 center. And I always said this. What's interesting about DC books, and again, no key here, but DC books are going to gain value. Okay, but just imagine if Warner Brothers in the DCEU had even close to the amount of success that Marvel Studios had, in what their books will look like on the market right now. So that's why I say, look, there's a lot of books to buy for a good price right now that have potential, obviously, that already have long-term potential on their own. But if something ever gets off the ground and starts rolling with the DCEU, you could be ahead of that curve.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. That's a nice pickup.
And what a lot of people don't realize, especially when you're talking Batman, like so many of these Rogues Gallery members that we know and love, we grew up with the animated series and all that, so we've known all these guys. Like Batman 171, hot book. Everybody likes the Riddler, right? It's literally his 3rd appearance ever. He was in 2 books, 2 months apart in the 40s, and you didn't see him again until the 60s.
That's crazy.
Scarecrow, Batman 189, same thing, 3rd appearance. And they're super early appearances of all these guys, and that's another part of the reason why they're going up so much. You don't have 30, 40 appearances like the Joker or Catwoman or Penguin.
Yep. No, I never even thought about that. 20-year difference. It's insane. Yeah. By the way, Tony Trombetta, what is up, everybody? Check out Tony. He owns EGS Grading, another grading option for you guys on the table. They do a really good job. They definitely differentiate themselves from the rest. Check them out. We had Tony on the show. Man, it feels like years ago.
Right.
That's to everybody. But nice to see you in the chat, Tony. All right. Before we get to my 3rd pick of the week, we have Vinny Whitlock here. A Hero for Hire number 2, 2nd appearance of Luke Cage, and 1st appearance of Claire Temple. Since this is a very fine plus, and he loves this book. I mean, I fucking love Luke Cage myself. I just pulled this off the shelf here. I'm sharing. This is not fresh from the comic shop, but I'm just going to share my 8.0 CBCS Hero for Hire.
Anytime you want to walk to the camera with a Ramita cover, I'm good.
There you go.
No explanation needed.
For you.
All right.
But moving on, my next fresh get of this week. This one's an interesting one. Just came in today from TFAW. This is a hot book that we have going on. Oh, wait. No. Time out. I got to do Shadow Rat first. I'm sorry. I'm being selfish. Shadow Rat.
Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Warlock and the Infinity Wasp number 1. I had to do that because he also had some nice Howard the Ducks with those early first Gwenpool appearances. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of those, but I would be on the lookout for that because she first appeared in, well, it was on the cover, I think, of Secret Wars, but she first appeared in Howard the Duck, was her first appearance. So absolutely be on the lookout for those. But anyways, all right. So this is we're only on our 3rd fresh gets. Wow. This is my 3rd fresh get. This is an interesting cover. This is Shadecraft. We've seen Shadecraft. Actually, it was number 1 last week on the top 10 hottest comics of the week. It's been optioned for Netflix. This is a 1 in 500 variant store exclusive from TFAW by Zoo Orzu. It's really a beautiful
looking cover.
Wow.
So this just came in
It's got some texture to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really unique looking cover. Loving that signature right there, Orzu. So I'm happy about that get. They sold out super quick. So
yeah, books like that are why I had to stop buying new comics so much, man. I could go in the poorhouse just buying all the pretty new variants.
It's insane. It really is insane. But it's part of the industry right now. So you could see the pros and everybody can talk about the pros and cons of it, but it's pretty ingrained right now. Chris and I don't know why I'm just talking by myself. Chris and I talk about it, frequently on the show. Actually, Drew, real quick. What are your thoughts on these variant covers for these new books?
If you're buying the variant because you like the art, you like the book, awesome. If you are trying to invest in a variant, I have given one piece of advice for investing in a variant in the last 5 years, and I don't foresee anything else coming. So I don't think they're a good investment. Most ratio variants you can buy for less, far, far less than what they'll cost you at release 6, 8, 10 months down the road. The one bit of advice I did give was the Amazing Spider-Man 55 when it first came out. I saw where the artist was doing Virgins and then CGC 9/8s and Signature Series. I think you could get a 9/8 blue label of the Virgin for $100 for him when it came out. And I run my buddy and I have a Facebook group for kind of our region, and I threw up the link. I'm like, guys, I think this could be a thing. I didn't take my own advice, so I'm the only idiot in the group that didn't wind up making money off of it. But for the most part, I don't chase variants for investment.
It's become an interesting thing for the industry. I definitely have been picking them up recently, and I had nothing to do with them like 2 years ago. So
and I love them, and that's the thing. If you're buying them because you like them, that's great. I just walked into my comic room one day and I had boxes full of variants of books I didn't really give a crap about. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to take a step back. But
that's definitely been happening.
That's the important thing. Buy what you want.
Yep, there you go. Planet Arizona agrees with you. Buy it because you like it, and if it appreciates, bonus. All right. But speaking of bonus, what do we got next? Did we? Yeah. So we got our audience. And I love this name, by the way. ZW. He has these Bad Idea comics. Bad Idea new comics are so cool looking. Feeling thankful. Been collecting for like 2 years. Indie comics. I've been on fire lately. ENIAC 1 and Tankers 1. Watch these books, people. Have to agree with that myself. I enjoyed both of those issues, but we also see Geiger there. I think we got a Year of the Villains up there. I see some High Republics. So that's a nice pickup there. ZW, a bunch of pickups. There we go. All right. So Drew, what do you got? Fresh from the comic shop.
All right. Well, again, another shameless plug. I just dropped a video today, and spoiler, this is the #1 book on the list. Also, some insight into my top 10 list. The numbers don't mean anything. That's just literally how I put them on there. This is a book I've been into for a few years, just picking them up wherever I can. I love the character, and I think now's a good time to pick it up because nobody's really talking about it, and this is another character that kind of got done dirty in the MCU. So I've got Tales of Suspense 50, the first appearance of the Mandarin. Play with the glare a little bit here, but this is a pretty solid copy. It's lower mid-grade, but I love this book. This is for my show inventory. I think it's the 3rd copy of it I've got now. I'm just kind of picking them up where I can because it's really, I think, high grade. If you look at Key Collector, they're saying like $1,100 for a raw copy, and you can find mid-grade copies for under $500, more like $300 to $400.
Yeah.
Book is off from its high values from Iron Man 2 so far. That book was huge when that movie came out. I was actually at Kansas City at the big convention there the week or so before that movie dropped, and you couldn't touch it for $1,000, period. So I think it's a character that, especially if Shang-Chi, Iron Fist, that whole Kung Fu wing kind of fleshes out a little bit, the Mandarin just makes a whole lot of sense.
Well, he's definitely coming in that movie. He's definitely coming in Shang-Chi. I saw your video. I saw how you felt about Iron Man 3. Honestly, man, I liked it. I liked it. I wasn't mad. I didn't have any connections. I'm definitely familiar with the Mandarin. I didn't have any connection to that, a love of that character, but I was happy with it. However, I think they fixed that in one of those kind of one-shot.
Yeah, all hail the king.
Yeah, and he's going to be in Shang-Chi, and they actually just released or leaked. There was, I don't know if it was a leak or a release of one of the toys from Shang-Chi of the Mandarin.
Okay.
I'm going to say this. I don't know if it's a spoiler, but he doesn't have rings, right?
Okay.
He's got five.
Like bracers or something?
That I guess you can consider rings on each hand. So they're going with something a little different there. I'm cool with that, man. I'm definitely cool with it. So we shall see. Yeah, absolutely. We shall see. All right, Chris, what do you got fresh from the comic shop?
All right, man. This is fresh from the UK, baby.
Oh, wow.
Ooh.
I got a mag. I'm a huge Transformers fan, and this is my first ever Transformer UK mag with Galvatron.
Very nice.
Oh, yep, and Unicron. Unicron back here in the background. Just beautiful cover. Amazing full color art on the inside, too. I mean, this is just a beautiful book.
Yes.
So I got this off of the Mercari app for decently cheap, and this guy, the seller, I've been meaning, I want to buy some more off him because he got a bunch with free shipping too. So I'm gonna go back and I made an offer, a few dollars off of the asking price. He accepted it, so I'm about to go get a couple more of these because these are just freaking awesome, man.
Yeah, man, snatch that British stuff up whenever you can find it over here. It's tough to come by on occasion.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful. Galvatron was so cool. So cool.
Yep.
All right. So we are done with our audience submissions here. However, we each have one more after this. This is real quick. I'll do my fresh get from the comic shop. This is another TFAW delivery. This is Noctera #1. I think this is the glow in the dark cover. I'm excited to read this. Scott Snyder book. Really sweet cover. Loving this cover. So yeah, I'm excited about that. I think it's glow in the dark. Let me see it. I got it on the line. Let's see. I can't really tell. But anyways, that is my fourth fresh get. Drew, you are up now. What do you have?
All right.
Final fresh get. Fresh from the comic.
I'm bending the rules a little bit because my last book is 3 books. I got these all from the same guy. He's a buddy of mine, and he picked up a collection and kind of let me know a little bit about it. So we got together and made a deal on a couple of these. I'm hoping he finds some more. But first up, I've got a Cap. What is this, 115? Yeah. And I don't know how well it's coming through, but it's gorgeous.
It's nice. The Mylar always makes it look really nice.
And I'll explain more. These are in My Light 2s with fullbacks, and then in archives with another fullback behind them. And I'll explain why here in a second. So next up is Cap 122, just an awesome Scorpion cover.
Totally.
Again, don't know how well you can see it. And then transition over to Thor 155. Nothing special here, in my opinion, as far as the cover goes, but still pretty cool. But I picked all of those up because they are all 3 from the Mile High 2 collection. So they are super, super nice books, and I'm going to be sending them off to be slabbed, probably at CGC, so I get that cool black pedigree label they have, and
nice,
all that.
That absolutely. By the way, that the Cap with the Cosmic Cube, Red Skull and the Cosmic Cube. There is a Captain America 25 1 in 10 variant where Sam Wilson becomes Captain America. Obviously, that's getting hot. Captain America 25. Yeah. It's a Hasbro variant, so it's all action figure of that. So y'all, that's flying under people's radar. I would be on the lookout for that one as well. Just throwing that out there. Hold on.
Up the thing. There we go.
There you go.
Yep. Cert of authenticity there.
Beautiful.
So, yeah. Boom. I was very surprised when.
Awesome.
that came to be. So happy to have these in the PC.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Chris, your fifth and final book of the week.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Threatening us, right?
All right.
You're threatening us.
I didn't want to take it to this, but I'm going to get down on it. I got a knife, and I'm going to do something a little different. I got a book that's really fresh from the mailbox.
Yeah.
It's not even open yet. So you guys want me to open it with you?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm just glad your mailman didn't bend it in half.
Yeah, oh, I know, right? This is going to be the first unboxing from fresh from the comic shop.
Absolutely.
I don't even know if I need my knife, but I brought it just in case. So, I mean, this could have been packaged much better.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, it's not even taped. It's just loose in here, and it was kind of like that.
Everybody take note. This is how you do not package a comic.
Correct.
Exactly.
Correct.
I have a couple videos. How not to ship books. Ooh. Oh, yeah.
Is this your first like eyes on it right now, or like?
Yep. Yeah, it was. I didn't open it.
Okay. Are you happy?
Look at that. All right.
He's taking it in.
I'm gonna taking it in for a minute. My bad. I'm gonna take it out of this nasty old poly.
That's the worst.
Nice, decent shape. A little bit of a spine writ there. This is a square bound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Enough anticipation. Nothing huge. Fantastic Four #7 though. This is like is this an early appearance of Doctor Doom? When did this come out?
If it's annual 7, that would have been what, probably 69, 68.
Yeah, 69. So no. This is later on, but look, it's got Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom's hot right now.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Early Fantastic Four annual. Why not? It looks nice.
It's really nice. There is about a 1-inch spine break right there at the top.
Okay.
You did say square bound.
Yeah, I mean, it's beautiful. It's got a little color breaking down here, a little blemishing.
Smell it.
Yep. Oh,
there
yeah.
it is.
Yep.
I tell you what, pro tip, guys. Get yourself some drawer boxes, put nothing but Silver Age comics in it, open it up, and push it back in real fast. You can't beat it.
That's brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant. All right, here we go. This is my last fresh get of the week, which will close out fresh from the comic shop. A couple weeks back, you may recall that my coworker, she was kind of a guest co-host for us on the show. She doesn't read comic books. We turned her on to one book, and it was ENIAC. But that was my not first print. So I finally got my first print from TFAW. Very happy I did. Finally got it. It is a beautiful. These covers are gorgeous. This and Tankers #1. I am just I'm so psyched. The story was great too. Like
Matt Kent, good guy. Good guy.
Yeah, he was on I think he was on Spine Tick's channel recently. Oh man, I'm loving the quality that they put into this. Y'all may question why they do the things that they do, but the two stories I've read so far are solid. I highly recommend it. We had Dinesh on a couple months ago. He laid it out what they're trying to do. So I'm psyched for Bad Idea. I think a few of you in there have talked about your Bad Idea as well.
It's a really cool concept, the way they're approaching it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But they have the quality work to back it up too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
I implore all you guys to read those out there. Do not pay too much for your not first prints though. People are paying like $60. Those things are going to be printed on demand basically. So don't pay more than cover price for that. That's ridiculous. Anyways,
I'm over here. I know we want to end the segment, but I'm just over here flipping, smelling. So don't mind me. I'm just flipping and whiffing.
I can walk around the corner and we can go all night, guys.
Well, yeah.
We can keep it going.
Oh, yeah. No, we absolutely could, but we don't have that much time.
Time is a construct.
I have a 5-year-old that's going to be up in probably 6 or 7 hours, so I really got to keep things moving here. And it's just nonstop when she wakes up. So love her. But, oh, man. All right. So that concludes Fresh from the Comic Shop. Guys, please please send in your fresh gets each and every week. We love showing them off here. It's super simple. I'm going to say it again. Tag us at Comic Book Canon on Instagram. Hit us up, or you could hit us up with the hashtag FFTCS. And it's that simple. Each and every week, share with us what you got. We probably can't go through all 10 of your submissions. We could probably only do one at this point because you guys are coming in fast and furious, but we were happy to do it. We will definitely put at least one of them up there. Send them in. We love doing this each and every week. But we're going to move on now, guys, to one of our favorite segments. We say that all the time. All the time we say that. And that is the Cosmic Minute. Tom Tormey was unavailable last week because his kids contracted COVID. And we could be a little bit lighthearted about it now because they are perfectly fine and everybody's safe, healthy in that family. COVID is some serious shit, and it's not to be taken lightly. But Tom is a funny guy. We love him. We love the fact that he is with us each and every week, contributing not only this Cosmic Minute, but he's always in the chat. He had to bail today because I'm sure he had a long work day. But again, here we go. We got another Cosmic Minute, and we're gonna roll this thing right now about the rights to like Aquaman and related characters. Here we go.
Who is this? Who is Devil Ray? I said I want the Black Manta. What do you mean I can't use Black Manta? Hi, I'm Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and this is your Cosmic Minute. And today we're talking about the Aquaman embargo. For decades, Aquaman had been the butt of every superhero joke there was. But by 2005, things seemed to be turning around for Arthur Curry. Aquaman had a supporting role on Smallville. He had a major storyline on the show Entourage, and best yet, he was about to get his own show. As a direct result of all this media attention, DC asked the writers of the wildly successful Justice League Unlimited animated series to use Aquaman sparingly and to stop using his supporting cast of characters altogether. For the writers of the Justice League Unlimited TV series, this was nothing new. They had been asked to go through something similar with Batman and his family of characters due to production on movies such as Batman Begins and the TV show The Batman. DC was worried that with so many different versions of the character across all of these forms of media, that the average viewer would get confused. So they asked the writers to limit their usage, which is why we have the Aquaman and Batman embargoes. As a direct result of the Aquaman embargo, JLU used Aquaman sparingly, and characters like Black Manta became Devil Ray. Mercy Reef, the live-action Aquaman series starring Justin Hartley, got lost in the shuffle when the WB and UPN networks combined to form the CW. Unfortunately, the series was not picked up. Luckily, in 2008, we got a big-screen Aquaman movie, and it was awesome. I'm still Tom from Cosmic Comic History, and that was your Cosmic Minute. Until next week, be well and stay safe.
Awesome. Again, thank you again, Tom, for the Cosmic Minute. Guys, you need to follow Cosmic Comic History on Instagram each and every day. Tom dishes out some comic book history knowledge on you every morning. It's one of the first things I look at Instagram. Please follow Tom. Cosmic History. You won't be disappointed. By the way, it just seems like that they were just half-assing at that point, like making offshoots of Black Manta and things like that. Just don't even come close to those characters. Just you got plenty of other characters in the in the toy chest to play with. It just sounds just absolutely weak, in my opinion.
I agree.
I got nothing.
You got absolutely. I guess I have the strongest opinion here. Love to hear your opinions in the chat. But we will move on to our next segment. Guys, this is a favorite segment here. This is one of our favorite segments. It is the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of Cover Price's data. That is right. We are basing it off of data. Cover Price takes all sales reports from all these online websites and algorithms and all that stuff, puts that data into a bucket, shakes it up, and comes out and spits out this top 10 list. Those top 10 lists come out on that top 10 list comes out on Monday. Our show is live on Friday. So what we do here is Chris takes his 3 most interesting picks of the week on that top 10 hottest comics. And he just dives in and gives a little bit of detail. But sometimes it's not 3 comics, right, Chris?
Yep.
And I think this week is one of those times. But before we get into Chris's 3 picks, we're going to list out the top 10 hottest comics of the week based off of cover prices data. Here we go. At number 10, we've talked about this book. We got Geiger, number 1, black and white, thank you, variant. At number 9, we have the Berserker, number 1, second print foil. I mean, come on, are there like 700,000 copies of this book out there? It's insane. At number 8, we have Geiger, number 1, cover B variant. At number 7, we have Death by Life, number 1, Antarctic Press. At number 6, we have Berserker, number 1, third print foil. At number 5, we have Shadecraft, number 1. We were talking about Shadecraft earlier. At number 4, we have all new Wolverine, number 1, hip hop variant. This is the DMX cover. Rest in peace. Yeah, he was. It's just a shame. Number 3 is The Rise, number 1, heavy metal. And number 2 is ENIAC number 2. I am eagerly anticipating this issue. I have not read that yet. Haven't even gotten it yet, but I will be getting it. And at number 1, we have Geiger, number 1, cover A. So, guys, that's our top 10 list right there.
Love that A cover for Geiger.
Isn't it? It looks incredible. Yeah. Actually, all those Geiger covers, I'm really, really liking all of them. But Chris, what do you got here for your interesting picks?
Yeah, so I usually pick 3 out that are interesting, whatever the reasons may be. But this week I couldn't do it again. I couldn't do it because there is something else going on that absolutely needs to be talked about. For one, poor DC's getting left out. All right. There's only one Marvel book. So if there's no DC, yeah. And rest in peace DMX. Obviously, that's why that book hit this list. So if DC is left out, there's only one Marvel book. What's going on? Because nobody reads comic books anymore, right? Ha! Dude, let me tell y'all, this is all about indies. And Jeff, the funny thing about this is it wasn't that long ago that we had a very similar week. I want to say maybe 5-6 weeks ago, we had another week that was dominated by indies, and I said, screw it, we're indie love, baby, all day long. This is another one of those situations. Now, you had 9 indie books. Some of them, the Geiger had, 3, I believe, right? The cover B and then the second print or whatever. So I get that, but I took some notes here, and I want everyone to pay attention to this. All right. People who are naysayers of comic books in the comic book market, listen to this, what this list consists of, all right? First off, let's name how many independent publishers made the top 10 list in 1 week. 5. Out of 10 books, 3 being Geiger, 5 different independent publishers. You got Image, right? You got Bad Idea. You got Boom, right? You got Heavy Metal. And what's the fifth one?
You said Boom. Oh, you said Image. I don't know. I don't think there is a 5th one. I think that's it.
Oh, there is. And I forgot to write them all down. That's my bad.
Bad Idea?
Bad Idea is up there. Look. Yeah, Shadecraft is
Image.
Image. Geiger is Image. Right?
Berserker's Boom.
Berserker's Boom.
Oh, Antarctic Press. Death by Life.
There you go. Thank you so much. 5 independent publishers, all right? And that's not it. So focusing on the 5 publishers, though, it goes to show you, we've talked so long, all of our lives, at least people our age, probably younger and older, though. The big two. The market isn't even like that anymore. Now, don't get it twisted here on what I'm trying to say. We know what Marvel and DC are, all right? But this just goes to show you that there are people out there buying books from publishers because they are interested in what these other publishers are doing, and there's a market for them. That is an absolute beautiful thing. But I also want to point this out as well. There's 5 other things to focus on too. And you know what that is? Genre. Out of the 9 independent books from 5 different publishers, there's 5 different genres. All right, let's review them. There's Geiger, which you can say is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi. It's one genre. You got Berserker, superhero genre, but it's, superhero action genre. You got Death by Life in the Rise, which are the horror genre. Shadecraft, supernatural genre. And ENIAC, sci-fi thriller genre. So again, the diversity in these books is absolutely amazing to me personally. So that's why I had to discuss this top 10 like this. Really, the market is so diverse right now, and people are seeing that. People are reading it. We just had, Rock and Robbie, pop culture philosophers, on last week, and he reviewed some of these books in our Fresh from the Comic Shop from last week. And one thing that I said, I brought him up in my live stream that I did on my show today about how there's always those people that say people don't read comic books anymore. And here's a guy like Robbie, pop culture philosophers, who has a YouTube channel that has over 10,000 subscribers, who gets thousands of views, and all he does, for the most part, 99% of the time, is weekly reviews on not what's selling the hottest, not what's breaking sales records, not what's being speculated on because some movie release, but he does reviews on the stories. He reads the books, comes to YouTube, says this. I call him the Siskel and Ebert of comic books, the Siskel and Ebert of YouTube in the comic book community, because he's telling you about these stories, and thousands of people are watching. People are buying these books. They're enjoying these books. There's a lane and an avenue for these independent publishers to get a piece of this pie right now, and I am loving it. And also, again, it goes to show you that we comic book fans, we like different things, and there's something out there for everyone. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Post-apocalyptic sci-fi, superhero action, horror, supernatural, sci-fi thriller, guys. There is something there for absolutely anyone. It's beautiful.
You break it down again. I like what the bearded one says here. I brought this up earlier. I think the indie domination is a sign that new readers are in the hobby.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. That's a great thing. Like, Drew, I know that you your business is a majority like older books. But what do you think about this especially a list like this, a top 10 hottest comics list? Like, it's impressive.
I tell you, I'm really appreciative of Bueller right now, because the only reason I know most of these names is because Coffee and Comics is kind of my Monday ease into the work week. Just put that on and drink coffee and chill. So I at least have heard of most of these, so that's awesome. But even back when I was still really hot and heavy in my pull list every week, Image and the other small press publishers were the way to go if you wanted to actually read a comic. The last couple of years I worked at the store, people that would walk in and just wanted to get into comics, literally, again, wanting to read comics. Yeah, we had like Daredevil Born Again, the Winter Soldier arc of Captain America you could point them to. But then it's like, I can sell somebody on Chew a hell of a lot easier than I can sell them on a lot of things. And those small presses, they're not afraid to take risks. They can tell the stories the way they want to tell them. They don't have to worry about paying investors, and making money with every single book. Literally, they want to make enough money so they can afford to eat and put out the next issue. So, small press is really where the good stuff has been for a long while now. So I'm not surprised by this. And honestly, I'm sitting here wishing I could probably get my hands on a copy of the A cover of Geiger. I think that ship may have sailed.
Yeah. I mean, again, it goes to what it's interesting to hear you say that, especially because your business revolves around the older books. But I agree with you too, man. There's so much good stuff. I got like some of my favorites are Firepower, Scumbag. Granted, those are Image books, but I'm really enjoying that. Again, ENIAC and Tankers blew me away. ENIAC was really good. Tankers I really like too. Having Robert Vendetti on here a few weeks ago, like that, really just fun. That's a fun book.
I have no doubt that I would love a lot of these. The reason I stopped reading new books is I got to a point where I was trying to go too deep. So I was spending $75 or $100 every single week. And it got to be the point where I'm just taping and filing short boxes of comics I never even got to read. And it just, the fun went out of it and started to feel like work. So that's when I had to distance myself. So I'm sure at some point I'm going to get back into it. I did actually read The Last Ronin #1. I've still got #2 sitting in there
good
to check out at some point. So hopefully I get to that before 3 comes out.
Yeah. 1 was good, but I thought 2 was even better. So
nice.
I'm with you there too. I'm starting to get into that point where I'm just taping things up and putting them in a box. I'm having trouble keeping up here. But the pandemic has a lot to do with that because I've been buying a lot of books because of that. But I really, really do enjoy seeing this. And again, it's not that common at all, but it's good to see. And Chris, you did it, again, as you do every week. Fantastic job breaking this down.
Yeah, and it's hard to do a segment when you've got like no history of sales to talk about when you're so front heavy with new books. So well done.
Yeah, again, well done. Each and every week, Chris breaks it down, but that has been our top 10 hottest comics of the week. I drew that out. But man, this show has gone by so fast. Drew, you've been such an amazing guest.
Very gracious host, so thank you, gentlemen.
The audience has been amazing. You guys, fantastic job with your Fresh from the Comic Shops, your comments. You guys always supporting us. We're super appreciative of this. Drew, I think, and Chris, I know we haven't had a sidebar, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get you one of those alumni, those Comic Book Canon alumni jackets with your name on it. And they haven't been created yet, and I don't know if they ever will, but we tell that to every guest every week. The joke's
Hopefully they come in fat guy size.
Nah, you know what, Drew? We're going to make you look good.
All right.
We're going to make you look good. But seriously, we can't thank you enough for being here. Your knowledge in the market, you just brought a completely new angle that we haven't had from somebody from the hobby, and we really appreciate you being on.
Well, I appreciate the chance, and like I said, all glory should go to P. Keel, because the reason I even learned about Comic Book Canon was through P. So, shower him with appreciation, and I had a great time. And
one last question from P. Keel.
You know that's happening. I love that show. I will move heaven and earth to be at that show.
When is that show?
It's first weekend October. It's called OFCON. It's gonna be a little different this year, but if you'll indulge me for a brief moment, OFCON is a small hotel conference room show that per capita has the highest quality of comic books in the room you will see. It's I'll put it to you this way. Steve Borick is there. Buddy Saunders is there. Bedrock comes up for this show. It's huge if you know about OFCON, because it's kind of like the best kept secret, like the show nobody ever really talks about. It's fantastic. It's the one show of the year I go to that I don't set up at. It's my fun time. So
okay.
If you find your way to Norman, Oklahoma on the first week of October, it's going to be a good time.
Maybe that'll be Chris and I, our first on location Comic Book Canon live show.
There you go. Yeah, you can fly into OKC.
I've never been to Oklahoma.
I've driven through Oklahoma. I like what I saw.
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty easy drive. It's straight and flat.
It absolutely is, actually.
I gotta go over a couple mountain ranges to get there though myself. So
yeah, I'm going to recommend you fly into OKC and rent a car. It'll be better.
There we go. All right. Well, anyways, guys, thank you so much again for joining us each and every week. These shows have become honestly just the highlight of Chris and my week, and as well as having guests like Drew on. We're making new friends and just getting to know new people and just talking about this hobby that we love. Again, follow us on Instagram, which is Comic Book Canon. Hit us up, fresh from the comic shop. Just hit us up on the random. You could email us about various things at comicbookcanon@gmail.com. Please do not forget to hit up Chris or Drew here at como.comic.books. He's also got his website, comocomicbooks.com. And absolutely do not forget his YouTube channel, which is right below. Click on that link, subscribe. He puts out some great content that you'll be informed and a better collector and part of this industry by watching him. Chris, what are your final thoughts of the week?
Final thoughts, Drew. Again, thank you so much for coming on. And again, we've had, I'm telling you, man, every week we keep getting some great insight. I love it. It shows how deep rooted this hobby is and how many people are inspired about it. So when we get guests that come on and just hang out with us and talk and share their experiences, you say you're not a storyteller. You're not a very good storyteller, but I'm telling you, you're the perspective that you brought to the table tonight. I was listening to every word loud and clear. So I appreciate that. It keeps inspiring me to enjoy this hobby. And I'm sure it's inspired everyone else that has been hanging out in the chat today. So Drew, thank you so much. And thank you all again for being here. Fridays, like Jeff said, I'm ready. I'm gonna bounce out of here though. And I'm going to go watch Winter Soldier episode 5 for the 3rd time because it was that good.
It was solid. Yeah.
I don't want to give away.
Nice.
Chris and I were debating whether to talk about that cameo or what have you, but I didn't want to talk about
next
it.
week.
It was so good. It was so well. It was.
That's a big money cameo. Like they spent money. On
yeah. That's That's a perfect tease. You're not giving anything up.
Yep.
Big money.
But honestly, I thought it was the perfectly balanced show. It was so well balanced in every way.
Yep.
Action, you get development of the
so
character.
Much symbolism.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man,
it
was great.
One moment I teared up, and I'll tell you guys post show here when we get together and talk when we get off air. But guys, again, thank you all so much for joining us. We will be back again next week, 9 p.m. Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time with a new guest, and it'll be just as fun as today was, we promise. So you guys all take care for the rest of the week. We will see you soon. Peace.